Game Pass news, let's get into it. Coming today to Xbox and PC is Eastern Exorcist. This is a stunning 2D side scrolling action RPG set in a fantasy Eastern world with vicious spirits and monsters. Play as a skilled exorcist against chaotic evil to fight your way through the brutal world and experience different stories of joy and sorrow. After being announced for Game Pass, this title started trending on social media, which of course is excellent for the developers of this small studio. I think personally this looks pretty badass, so I'm going to put it on my long list of games to play later. All right, next up we have Ghostlore coming to console today. Ghostlore is an East Punk action RPG where you fight monsters from Southeast Asian folklore. Inspired by timeless classic ARPGs such as Diablo 2 and Titan Quest, Ghostlore features a detailed item and character customization system, procedurally generated maps, and awesome 90s retro graphics. Now, this game has a Chinese hand-drawn ink painting style with many atmospheric scenes. At first glance, I'm getting more of an in-depth Vampire Survivors vibe, so if I can find some time, I'll have to try this one out as well. Next up is the elephant in the room, and that would be Microsoft's deal to acquire Activision Blizzard has been approved by the EU regulators not long after the UK pooped all over it. The European Commission concluded that the deal can pass with remedies from Microsoft related to cloud gaming. EU concluded that Microsoft would have no incentive to refuse to distribute Activision's games to Sony, and if Microsoft did decide to withdraw Activision's games from the PlayStation, it would not significantly harm competition in the console market. But EU regulators did find the acquisition could harm competition around the distribution of PC and console games through cloud gaming services. To address those concerns, Microsoft offered to give UK consumers a free license to stream all current and future Activision Blizzard PC and console games for which they have a license, and to stream them through the cloud streaming service of their choice. Along with that, Microsoft also offered a free license to cloud streaming services to allow players to stream any of Activision Blizzard's PC and console games. Both commitments have a 10-year term on them, and the Commission said Microsoft's remedies also ensured that streaming games will have the same quality and content as traditionally downloaded titles. Now, these licenses are automatic and mean that consumers will have a right to stream Activision Blizzard games they've purchased or subscribed to on any cloud gaming streaming service of their choice and play them on any device using any operating system. It appears that the European Commission requested Microsoft offer this automatic license and that the Xbox maker will now apply this globally. So now is what is going on now is the question, I guess. How can this move forward? And I'm talking about the deal itself. Well, Microsoft is still appealing the CMA decision with the UK Competition Appeals Tribunal, known as CAT. But I find it weird that every single cloud gaming provider wants the merger to go through because it will directly benefit their business, while at the same time, the CMA is suggesting it will give Microsoft too much power. Let's not forget, the CMA previously screwed up their arithmetic the first time around in regards to the benefit Microsoft would have to make Call of Duty exclusive to their ecosystem, when the CMA used 5 years of profit versus 1 year of losses, and they had to do a 180 because of their Common Core math. I joke, of course, but hey, guess what? They did it again, claiming Microsoft has a 60 to 70% market share in cloud gaming by counting every single Game Pass Ultimate user as a cloud gaming user, which is simply just not true. How many of you use cloud gaming from Microsoft? I'm guessing not a whole hell of a lot. And with every cloud gaming provider publicly saying the deal is a good thing, we get the CMA essentially saying, sorry, cloud providers, we know your own business better than you do. Not one gaming cloud provider has said this is a bad deal, not one. Now we get the Prime Minister getting involved. PM Sunak shared a message on his LinkedIn provided by Idlesloth, shout out, saying he claims we want to make it as easy as possible for British business to thrive. Alongside Microsoft, we can and will contest this decision, and we've already begun to work to appeal to the UK Competition Appeals Tribunal. We're confident in our case because the facts are on our side. This deal is good for competition. The UK hopes to grow its leadership position in technology, and a combined Microsoft Activision would accomplish exactly that. At the same time, when the fields of machine learning and artificial intelligence are thriving, we know the UK market would benefit from Microsoft's bench strength in both domains, as well as our ability to put those technologies to use immediately. By contrast, if the CMA's decision holds, it would stifle investment, competition, and job creation throughout the UK gaming industry. He further adds, I'm going to do everything I personally can to advocate for us and help regulators understand the competitive dynamics in our industry. Next, we get the British Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt said this when asked about the UK CMA decision to block Microsoft's merger with ABK. He says British regulators should understand the need to promote growth. One of the reasons that companies like Microsoft and Google want to invest in the UK is because we have independent regulators that are not controlled by politicians. I would not want to undermine that at all, but I do think it's important that all our regulators understand their wider responsibilities for economic growth. Now, we have this clip by Yahoo Finance in which they suggest Microsoft could carve out the Activision Blizzard side of the business within the UK. Now, you got to listen to this.
Well, if Activision Blizzard and Microsoft can't appeal or lose the appeal there, some of the experts I spoke to say they might just carve out the UK on its own, set up a secondary business where they'll just operate as they do now, separate entities. And on the global scale, you would have Microsoft and Activision being able to offer their services as one. So you would have basically what Microsoft wants to do is make its cloud gaming platform the best in the world. Frankly, it is right now as far as offerings go and capabilities. And then they'll be able to grow in the mobile gaming space, another part that a lot of people aren't talking about, but an important piece of this discussion. Now, they would be able to do that everywhere else in the world. People would be able to play games on their smartphones that they otherwise wouldn't be able to do because of cloud gaming. And then the UK would just be left kind of in the dust. And perhaps down the line that would change. But it looks like if they are able to go forward in the US, then the UK will just be left behind.
Now listen, I'm also hearing from other experts that if Microsoft tries to do this, that the CMA could fine Microsoft up to 5% of the combined worldwide turnover of the merging entities. And they'd also then pursue a court order, probably an injunction, to enforce the order. That's a big deal. 5% of, 2 trillion, that's a big deal. Honestly, my head is spinning though. We may have uncharted territory here. Many people are going off of what has historically happened in these types of cases, which is understandable. But this merger could change the amount of power some of these regulatory bodies have in the future. Time will tell, and we'll be discussing this more this Sunday on the Gamers Council podcast. I just want to say thanks for watching and go play some games. Please make sure to subscribe to Game Pass Daily on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and join our Discord gaming community. Thanks for watching.